Yesterday we found out that Matthew Golden, the wide receiver from U of H, I'm sure Longhorn fans remember him, really good player for U of H, kind of a slot receiver, if you will, kind of a prototypical slot receiver, but he's a speed guy, and there's a lot of talk. We talked about it on our own Texas football live stream last night. There's a lot of talk that Texas will be interested in Matthew Golden, the U of H receiver that's in the transfer portal. If that's the case, that would make him and Deion Burks also targets in the transfer portal. They're very similar to me in their skill sets. I think I prefer Matthew Golden over Deion Burks just slightly, because I just think he's a little faster, and I've seen him in person. Let's be honest. All right, and I studied him because Texas played U of H. But I like Deion Burks too. I think if you're a Sark, you'll probably end up with one of those guys. I don't know if you need both of them because of how similar the skill set is. They're both kind of projected as slot wide receivers, speed demons. We know Sark likes speed demons. They're small-ish, slight-ish guys. Matthew Golden, I think the added value there is you get the kickoff return guy. He's one of the best kickoff returns in the country.
Yeah.
He's
special teams.
Yeah, he's one of the best kick returns in the country. So in addition to him being a guy that can help you as a slot receiver, and you're going to need it at wide receiver because Casey Kane, we just talked about the transfer portal. Texas first receiver in the transfer portal is Casey Kane. But on top of that, you're going to lose Xavier Worthy, likely A.D. Mitchell, Jay Witt. You're going to lose your top three receivers, and then you're talking about losing a veteran like Casey Kane. So I think that one of your top positions right now looking at the transfer portal has got to be wide receiver. Just because you're going to lose so much to eligibility, but you're also going to lose now Casey Kane, and that's just the first wide receiver potentially that could hit the transfer portal. So you could get as many as two wide receivers in the transfer portal for Texas. I do think Matthew Golden and Deion Burks, like I said, one or the other. I think Matthew Golden probably is a higher priority just because you got the kick return added value. But then Juice Wells, who's the South Carolina receiver, and I think he's got interest from Oregon,
Tennessee,
Ole Miss. I mean, the
whole SEC's after Juice Wells.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody's interested because he fits in any system. I said this yesterday. He fits in any system. You can plug him in Texas system with Sark. He's compatible with that system. You can put him in a veer and shoot system. He's compatible there. You can put him in that Lane Kiffin system. Oregon. These are very different offenses, and they all want Juice Wells because he fits. Because he's just a contested catch freak. His contested catch ability is unbelievable. He is. I mean, actually, Texas will see probably the best contested catch receiver in the country when they see Rome Odunze.
Yeah, Washington.
For Washington. He's the best contested catch receiver. If it's a 50-50 ball, it's an 80-20 with him. With Juice Wells, 50-50, it's probably 70-30. I mean, he's got strong hands, and he attacks the football at his highest point. As he's great in the scramble drill, I think he'll be really good in red zone because of that contested catch ability, and he's hard to bring down once the ball's in his hand. So everybody loves Juice Wells just because all of his skills just translate to any offense pretty much.
Yeah, and you've talked a lot about Sark having a tight rotation at receiver.
Yes,
you're gonna if you could land one of the guys, Golden or Burks, and then get in the Juice Wells, conversation. Juice Wells also a great blocker. He's a very physical football player when you watch him.
He is.
And with
yes.
Jordan Whittington's moving on, he's out of eligibility. He's your best blocker on the outside. That's the
point.
And the one name I'm always interested in who's in the portal but who's not. Isaiah Nair is a guy who
we hadn't heard the name yet.
We haven't heard his name.
Yeah, maybe.
He may be, and maybe
Could be reconsidering.
Remember, he had a knee injury the year before in training camp. But was starring, right? By all accounts, was having a heck of a summer coming from Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the injury. And he, when you're injured, you're recovering. You're not actually practicing with your team. And they go get A.D. Mitchell, and Xavier Worthy's a junior now, Jordan Whittington. And the tight rotation, you kind of lose your spot. You wonder if Isaiah Nair is saying, okay, now, here's my opportunity now. These guys are all leaving.
Should be.
I can be the guy. As I get fully healthy into January, into the spring, I can become the next guy with whoever comes in through the transfer portal. Maybe Isaiah Nair sees an opportunity and just watched A.D. Mitchell come in and guy who's going to be in the top 40 draft picks. Maybe he's looking at that as well.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And yeah, you're right. I mean, these guys, they see Sark only really expands his receiver rotation to about 4 guys.
And he knows Quinn, right? He's been there with Quinn. So,
a
relationship with the quarterback who's planning to be back. You're like, okay, yeah, I can become his favorite target, potentially. And, as you say, there's a lot of balls need caught moving forward in this offense.
Man. Like I said, there's a lot of opportunity in the receiving core to get in that rotation, but Yeah, I think Jonte Cook's probably likely going to be one of those guys. Don't forget, you got the receivers that you have recruited that are there.
Trey Wingo. Sark was in home with him this week from Missouri.
Yeah.
St. Louis. And then DeAndre Moore, another kid from Bellflower, California. So, there's still guys there. But, if you're Isaiah Nair, can I become kind of that A.D. Mitchell guy, that go-to red zone target that becomes problem? Because we remember he had 12 touchdowns at Wyoming.
Oh, he was
in the year before he transferred in.
Yep. No, he was highly productive. And everybody thought, I think that injury set him back a lot. And then after that, I'm not going to say that the coaches moved on, but they had to refocus on other players in the wide receiving core while he recovered. And I think after that, hey man, that, like I said, that receiver rotation is really tight. It's just hard to crack Sark's circle of trust with that group because he works really hands-on with the wide receivers. Like people don't know that he's really hands-on about how they run routes. He's really meticulous about the routes and how the route combinations and the sight adjustments for the receivers. So I think he knows those guys really well because he works so closely with them. And when he doesn't trust you totally, you're not gonna crack that group. And Jonte Cook ended up, getting ahead of guys like Casey Kane. Casey Kane, much like the safety room, you see some guys, they don't see a path to play. Yeah. And I think he saw, okay, if this freshman's getting reps ahead of me, where's my path to play? Now, you would think when the eligibility of all those receivers is up and Xavier Worthy leaves, A.D. Mitchell leaves, that would be the path for him. But like I said, he's in that room. He knows. Yeah. So he's still in that room thinking, okay, I still have no path to play, even though your top 3 receivers are leaving. Think about that. What does that say? That says a lot. Yeah, because he's a guy that played under Sark. He's earned trust under Sark, but maybe he lost that trust.
Yeah, or he just knows Jonte Cook and DeAndre Moore ahead of him as far as that goes, and there's other guys coming in. All right, good stuff right there with Rod behind the burnt orange curtain. Matthew Golden, a name, second-team All-Big 12 player. Keep an eye on that.
Another name to keep in mind is Trey Moore. He's the UTSA edge rusher who's in the transfer portal. And Texas reportedly is interested. He's an all-AAC player. Well, actually, he was as a sophomore. He was the AAC Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah. So he's a hell of a player. 38 pressures last season, or this season, I should say. 14 sacks. That led the AAC. 18 tackles for loss led the AAC. 29 defensive stops, second among edge rushers in the AAC. So he's a really good player. Got great BGO, ball get off. Can come screaming around the edge. He's a guy that can, be a pass rusher, kind of a natural pass rusher for you situationally. We know they like Ethan Burke. They like Barron Sorrell. You can never have too many pass rushers.
Colin Simmons coming in, too, from Duncanville. And we've seen, freshmen hit the field quick at Texas if they can produce. Yes, sir. And Colin Simmons probably got to get some weight put on coming out of Duncanville. But that is another name to watch, too.